Burgess here with Music Marketing TV. Today we're taking a look at Smooth Operator by Baby Audio. It is a spectral EQ of sorts. It has some smart technology to identify and remove resonances. And so I wanted to give you a really clear example of this thing working in a place where I plan to use it a lot. And that is in frequency modulation synthesis, because FM synthesis can get super bright, annoyingly so. And it'd be really nice to have something that's just sort of set up to tame it as I'm working. So I have here this sound I've already constructed, and I want to show you the sound after it's gone through the smooth operator. So that's the sound. We can go ahead and bypass it by clicking on the logo here. So you see it's got way too much low end. So what I've done here is I've dialed in a setting. Let's go ahead and just put this all back to default and sort of just do this ourselves. So let's say that you're working and you come up with a sound like this and you've been given the task of mixing it. So right now it's just listening to it right out the gate. If we bypass this, there's too much low end, and there's some really interesting mids and highs going on that we'd really like to bring out. Now, if you've ever done FM sound design, you know that while you're working, it can be quite challenging to tackle this issue as you're going as something you sort of set off to the mixing stage. So here we go. We've got it set up here, and I'm going to just, first thing I'm going to do is let's just start with the threshold all the way up. So this big blue button in the middle, or circle, that is the threshold for the whole plugin. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what that controls. So we're able to dial in a setting where it begins to compress. And if we put this somewhere in the middle, we see this is extremely defined. We can have this look at it in terms of bands instead of just a super individual frequency control, where it's basically a bunch of really tiny bands. We can reduce the number of bands in order to create a more general effect, and that's the focus control. So for this particular example, I had the focus up very high. There may be examples where you may benefit from a lower focus. So let me go ahead and adjust that while it's playing. So you can see it really evens out the definition that it has there. So for what I was doing, I wanted a very high focus. It benefited quite a bit from it. And then to further attune it, let's say that you want to be a little harsher or less harsh to some areas, you can adjust these points here. So I'm going to just simply bring this down some to treat this low end right here. And then finally, I'm just going to give it a boost at the output. You get 12 dB extra out. I'll deal with the cut and the mix and the levels and all that stuff later. Right now, I'm just doing sound design. I just want to clearly hear what I'm doing. And then later on down the line, I'll go ahead and adjust all the levels and worry about that kind of stuff. There are some additional cool features in here. So first, you've got your peak and RMS meters, which is really handy. And you've also got a solo feature. So if you turn on solo and hover over the band, you can hear what it's doing. And then there's a couple cosmetic options. You can change the background color as well, which is pretty nice. I've grown kind of accustomed to the pink since it's the default one. And you could change the size of it as well. Now, while you're working with it, for example, I could be adjusting things and I can have this just going in the background, right? Just on the channel strip. And as I adjust values, this is automatically going to attune for it. So it's kind of a nice thing where I could sort of do sound design in a different way and not have to worry so much about the tonal imbalances as I'm working. So for example, I'm just going to mess with a few knobs and you'll see it sort of just do its thing. So at no point does it get out of hand. If we take this off and do a similar thing, the low end is just out of control. And so this is just spectacular for this. I don't have a real bright sound queued up here. What we could do real quick is let's go ahead and take this output and we'll turn this off for a sec. We'll take operator 4, send it out, and we'll modulate it against operator 5. So we'll have 5 operate on 4, and we'll give 5 a very, very high ratio. Now, if we remove this, put it back. So that evening of the spectrum, now that wasn't the best sound on the planet, but what we got here is a clear demonstration of why you're doing some sound design. This is an extremely useful tool for quickly smoothing out things, and it makes it just sound so much more balanced. So while you're working, it's a lot easier to get some inspiration on what exactly you would like to do. And so that's one of the huge value points I see in a plugin like this, is being able to quickly sit down and not have to worry about attempting to fix things with EQs and filters while you're moving, and just have something like this on the output that'll sort of give you a better idea of what the final sound is going to be like. If you have any questions about this, feel free to let me know. Subscribe and hit that bell icon for future videos, and have a blessed day.